What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how you can run a perfect slant route. Let's get started. Now, before we get into this video, fellas, if you are a wide receiver and would like 200 plus wide receiver catching, route running, and press release drills that you guys can do, check out that very first link in the description below for our 8-week wide receiver on-field workout schedule. It's an 8-week daily on-field schedule. We give you all the drills wide receivers should be doing. We map it out with the exact sets and reps to follow. And what we do is we put it into a schedule so it's easy for you guys to follow and easy to understand. We also include video examples of each drill so you guys aren't confused on the technique and know exactly how to perform the drills. So if you guys want some more information on that, again, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. All right, guys, so how this video is going to work is we're going to talk about the technique of a slant route and give you guys some drills to work on that slant route specifically versus press. So obviously a slant route, we're going to be focusing a lot on like a 3-step slant. So like, let's say I'm here, obviously if the DB's in off coverage, zone coverage, we're just attacking him hard, 1, 2, 3, breaking off that 3rd step, and I'm out. Now the place that a lot of guys struggle with is how would you run that slant route when you have a press defender right up in your face or maybe an inside shade press defender? How can you get separation? So this first drill is going to be working on inside shade press. So if I come up to the line of scrimmage, when you're trying to come up with a plan for your route, how to run your route, we're looking for 2 specific things. One, we're looking for the DB's leverage. So is he lined up to the inside of me? Is he head up in front of me? Or is he outside? Like if he's inside shaded, like so I'm lined up, let's say the football's over here to the left and he's shaded to the left of me, that means he has inside leverage. Now, why is that important to know? Because you know his responsibility. Now, DBs are crafty. They'll try to change up the leverage. They'll show inside shade, then they'll jump outside and vice versa. So it's not always predetermined, but more often than not, it can be predetermined, especially if you're at a high school or youth level, right? So you want to be prepared for both. You want to be prepared to react if they take it away, but also you want to have a plan coming up to that line of scrimmage. So we see that his leverage, and we know that he's trying to take away the inside when he's inside leverage. That's his goal. Don't let us run a slant. Don't let us run a dig. So that's kind of convenient because we obviously have to run a slant. That's the whole purpose of this video. So how would you do that? How would you get separation and get open when he's inside shade like that? So again, the second thing that you want to look for, so first thing is his leverage. Second thing is how close or how far he is from you. That's how you pick your release that you're going to use. So let's say he's inside shade, pressed up right up on the line of scrimmage. Obviously, if my game plan is I'm going to fake outside and cut in front of him, that's not going to work because his whole purpose with that coverage is to take away the inside route. He's going to stay disciplined to that leverage. Now, you want to fake to the outside because you're not going to get the inside release, but you want to do something called a diamond release. So a diamond release is a way to force that guy to flip his hips to the fade. Because at the end of the day, when he's inside shade press coverage, he's still guarding us man-to-man, right? And what does nobody want to get beat on when it's man-to-man? That's going to be a fade, right? So he doesn't want to get beat over the top. He doesn't want us to take the top off the defense and win on a fade. So if I could sell that, I'm going to be able to get separation. But I got to make sure that I keep timing with my quarterback because a slant is obviously a quick route. So we come off the ball, that's when we would use a diamond release. So he's inside shade. You come off, we go 1, 2, 3 hard steps right at his outside shoulder. If he's sitting here and the receiver's here, you want to attack his outside shoulder to try to force him to flip so we could slip back underneath him and maintain spacing and timing with the quarterback. So now this next drill is going to help with that. So what you're going to do is you need a setup of 4 cones. So you need 1, 2, 3, 4. All we're going to be doing is pretty much zigzagging from cone to cone, taking those 3 diamond release steps. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this is going to look like half speed, and then I'll break it down full speed for you. So again, here's the orange cone to start. Right foot is going to be up. So set, go. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, planting off the 3rd step, driving off the 3rd step, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, coming in and out, taking only 3 steps to simulate that diamond release. I don't want more than 3 steps because that's going to screw up the quarterback's timing. He doesn't want us to take 5, 6, 7 steps, break down on a slant route. We have to be out of that thing right now. So that's why we're only taking 3 steps from cone to cone. So I'm going to show you how this drill is going to look full speed. Great drill to work on that slant route versus inside shade press. All right, guys, so this next drill is going to be working on a slide release slant route that you guys can use on a later developing slant route or maybe like a backside slant route, whatever the situation may be. So obviously, like there's more than just one type of slant, right? You got 3-step slant, you have a 1-step slant, you have like an RPO slant, which is pretty much what we're going to be working on with this release, but we're going to go over all those. After this, we're going to talk about the 1-step slant and some drills to work on that as well. So a slide release is obviously a longer developing release. So if you guys aren't familiar with the slide release, this is when then you would go here. You come off the ball. DB again would be inside shade press in this situation, and you come off the ball, you slide to the outside on that same 45-degree angle, trying to threaten the DB with what route? Trying to threaten him with a fade route. We're trying to make him think that we're doing a slide and just take off, but you have to attack at a 45-degree angle to make him make a decision. I'll talk about what that means in a second. So we come off the ball, we slide, give a move, try to sell like we're going to fade, and then we slip back underneath, very similar to the diamond release, just it's going to be a slower tempo. Okay, so that's what this drill is going to be working on next. Now, again, slide release works great on a slant if we make it work and we make this DB make a decision and make a choice. So what do I mean by that? So if he's inside shade, remember, his goal is to protect the inside. Do not give up the inside. That's why we have to identify his leverage when I come up to the line of scrimmage. So I see that he's inside leverage, doesn't want to give up the inside. A lot of receivers on this slide release, they go flat. So they'll slide flat like this. They don't attack vertically at his outside shoulder and at his hip. So if I slide flat like this, let's say the DB jumps with me, right? Let's say he goes with me and I give a move and I cross him up, right? I still have to get back to the slant, and he still could cut me off to that angle if he doesn't get completely broken on that slide release, and it doesn't look like a fade. So he's probably not going to move anyways. If you guys slide lateral, that DB is going to sit to the inside. We were trying to make him think that we were sliding and going. I want him, you guys all have seen this release before, like Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson. They'll come off the ball, they'll slide, and then they just take off and go. But they have to make it look the same, and it's got to be the same if you're going to slide and hit a crossover move, because we have to threaten the DB with the vertical. So if you just slide flat, again, there's no threat of the fade there. You slide flat, DB sits inside, and you go vertical, he could just cut us off to the angle because we're not threatening him. We're not making him make a decision. So that's what we have to do with that slide release. You have to attack on that angle, and then you have to sell with the crossover move to try to get him to bite. And that's what this drill is going to be for. So it's same 4 cones, just like that last diamond release drill that we were doing, but instead the cones are a little bit closer together. On the diamond release drill, I would say the cones are maybe about 5 to 6 yards apart. This one, the cones are maybe about 2 to 3 yards apart. So on a slide release to get some explosion, you're going to take something called a prep step. Some people might want to use a kick step. I recommend using a prep step. So a prep step is, let's say my right foot's up. A prep step is where you take like a little jab with the front foot and you push off of it to slide and attack on the 45. Make sure we set up these cones at a 45-degree angle so we get used to the angle we have to use on that actual slide release, okay? So you come off here, right foot's going to jab. We're going to slide, right, left, and as soon as you hit the left, you're going to push into the next slide, left, right, push into the next slide, right, left, coming out. Ball's going to be right there if you have a quarterback to throw to you running a slant route. So I'm going to show you how this thing's going to look full speed. Slide release is a great release that you guys can use to get separation on that slant when it's a later developing play. I forgot to stress that as much as I should have. Again, if it's an RPO, backside play, because this release takes some time, so you got to make sure that it times up with the quarterback's drop and the quarterback's footwork. All right, guys, so this next drill is going to be working on a one-step slant route. So this is what you would do on a one-step slant if you got a guy who's right in front of your face, head-up press, or maybe he's like outside shade press, and you have to run a one-step slant. So a one-step slant is common, especially out of the slot. So if you're like a slot receiver and you have to run just like a regular one-step slant, DB's off, linebacker's off, safety's off, you just come up, take one step, and then break on the slant. But what do you do if he's pressed up right in front of your face? And that's what we're going to be working on with this wide step, or some of you might refer to it as a jab release. So let's say you got a guy, again, remember, it comes down to identifying what? His leverage and the distance from you guys. So you're lined up here. Let's say the DB is lined up right in front of you, head up press. Maybe there's about a yard of space. Instead of me just running into him, obviously, I could still stay on my one-step slant timing, but use something called a wide step. So you're going to be using a kick step on this release, or you could use a prep step. But what a wide step is, where you take your back foot, let's say the quarterback's over to the left, we step wide outside the DB's frame. We're trying to get him to move. We bring my hips. You want to think your head stays even with your knee. That's going to make sure that you sell this thing enough with your upper body. So we're trying to get him to move off the platform so we can slip back underneath and run that one-step slant, but still maintain some separation. So like I said, we're going to be using a kick step or a prep step on this release. So what is that? What is a kick step or a prep step? So let's say I'm lined up here. When you step wide like this, I want you guys to attack at a 45, very similar to the diamond, the slide. I want you guys to attack at the exact same angle. Because why? It sells fade. But to sell that fade, you also need some speed and some quickness. So you need some twitch to this movement, right? So we can't just come from a position of being flat-footed, jab, and then go. You need some explosion. So that's where the kick step comes into play. So you take this back foot and all you're going to be doing, I'll show you from this angle, you're just kicking. You're kicking as hard as you can, as quick as you can to create some energy and to load up your hips so you can throw to the outside with a little more explosion. Now, if you don't like that, if your coach hates that, if he refers to it as a false step, you could use something different, like a prep step. So what is a prep step? A prep step is where you take this front foot and you step almost in place with it. You're here, you step in place. It's here, here, and you push off of the left foot and drive and throw into the wide step. So that's the technique of this. So this drill, honestly pretty simple. It's just like we're just working on the step. It's a very simple drill because, you know, it's kind of a simple route or a simple move, I guess you could say. Maybe not simple, but it's easy to work on, right? Let's put it that way. So all you're going to need, you need those same like 5 cones that we just had. You're going to put a line to help you stay skinny on this, or stay like, I guess flat, not so much skinny, to slip under the DB so we don't drift off the release. But you're gonna start up here, right foot's gonna be up, quarterback's to the left. We're gonna kick step and we have to get to this first cone out of the 4. Make sure the cone's at a 45-degree angle, has some distance, so you really gotta throw into the break. And as soon as the foot hits, you're gonna drive, stay underneath the cones, and run this slant route. So it's a great drill to work on that wide step, 1-step slant release. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like an 8-week wide receiver on-field workout schedule, everything wide receivers should be doing on the field for route running, catching, press releases, the works, check out that very first link in the description below where you can get access to that. I'll see you guys next time.